Good evening. My name is Lee. I'm from Cambodia. I met up with Tommy about 2 weeks ago and he asked me to share a brief testimony. I was like, oh, I don't know about that because I'm just not a good speaker and like an introvert. I'm okay doing a one-on-one. So I said, yeah, I'll do it because, it's all for God's glory. Yeah. But I'm an introvert of the highest order. I'm the kind of person that people invite over when they want to be by themselves. So bear with me as I'm not going to be long because I don't want to go too much details. I don't want to glorify sin. Because I lived a sinful life before, so. But yeah, in Cambodia there was a civil war in 1979, and there was a war going on, and my family, we fled to Thailand. We stayed at the Thai refugee camp for about 5 years. While there, that's how I knew about Jesus, because missionaries came to Thailand. They showed film about Jesus, and I remember I was a kid, and we were just all happy to be able to watch any kind of, movie, because destitute, poor, so it was just, I was just happy to be able to go along and watch the film, and then I remember it was just, afterwards I was just touched by the film. I was like, how could, someone treat a human being this way? And I remember feeling sad and even having compassion for Jesus, but I didn't know who he was then. I just remember walking back to my hut where we lived, and I was just sad and feeling down, all the way back home. And so that's how I knew about Jesus. And then the end of 1984, we were sponsored to go to America. And we're all troubled again. I was young and I was separated from my father because my father was in a different refugee camp. And his name was called to go to the States before us. And so his mom was ill, and then he wants to be with his mom. So he decided to go stay with his mom, and they're in California now, Long Beach, California. And on my mom's side, we went to Philadelphia. And so I never knew my dad since then, when he was called to go to the state before us. And while there, I don't have a role model, father figure to look up to. And before I liked the school, and then all of a sudden I just, follow the kids on the streets. You tend to look up to people on the streets, and that's your model. And I got involved in, first it started with shoplifting, but I went to John Wanamaker's Philadelphia, Sun City, just, steal clothes and, shoplift. And I got caught. And by the grace of God, Brother Nate, a big African-American man, he caught me coming down the escalator and then took me to a holding cell. And, he didn't arrest me, he didn't want to charge me or make me pay for a fine or anything. He just said, do you believe in Jesus? And while I was in the cell, at the time I was still in my teens, so I was scared. And then I told him, yeah, I believe in Jesus. And so he just, okay, I'm not going to make you pay a fine or anything, I'm not going to call your parents. He just told me to come to church with him. So he lives in North Philadelphia, I live in South Philadelphia, so we will meet close to his church in North Philadelphia, and we'll walk to the church. And so I started attending church with him about 4 or 5 times. And actually, he gave me this Bible I have to this day, since 30 years ago. And I kept this Bible even when I was incarcerated. He asked me to go to church with him, and then I started attending church, and then I stopped. And then once I stopped attending church with him, and then it led to a couple of years later, I started getting involved in hanging out in the streets again. You hear the still small voice saying, "Oh, you don't need to do all of this, but you just feel like want to be with your friends, or you just want to hang out, and I don't know, something just you want to show off, you want to do bad things. I don't understand. Looking back, I was like, what am I doing? But it was just a young kid being dumb, and I started just hanging out on the streets, even hustling, selling drugs, and then it even led to doing worse things, doing home invasions, and that's where I caught this homicide case, because the guy that I was hanging out with, he went up in the house and shot the guy in the house, and we didn't even get there yet. There was 2 calls actually going in, and then I was in the second call, and we didn't arrive to the house yet, but the guy in the first call got out and shot the guy, and he killed him, and we all got charged with 3rd-degree murder, and I ended up serving almost 13 years in prison. And so I committed some reprehensible sins and made terrible mistakes. But God's always did. He not only sent Brother Nate, but while in prison, I told my mom to bring me my Bible. Bring me this Bible that Brother Nate gave me. And when you're, like, I was the only Asian in the maximum security prison in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And you watch some prison movies, there's horrible things happen. But God protected me all along while I was there. And I don't know why I asked my mom to bring me the Bible. And who could you depend on when you're like back against the wall? You just need to call on God, and I'm glad I did. But while in prison, I started doing like Bible study, and I didn't want to go to church because there's a lot of not appropriate things happening in church. But I started doing certificates for doing Bible study, and I don't even know why I was doing it. I was just passing time. But looking back, like the seed that was planted, from the missionary, was still in me. And I'm just so grateful and thank God that He saved me. And it's blessed me so much now. If I don't have God in my life, I don't know where I would be. He blessed me to be able to. Well, let me back up, because I got deported. I actually got deported. Once I got released from prison, 2 years later, I got deported to go back to Cambodia. And this is when I really gave my life. This is my turning point. I said, I need to give my life to God. This is when I really, okay, God, you have your way with me. Because when I was released, I was still, I knew I had to do the right thing, and God sent me this Vietnamese lady that's devout, she's just all for God, just serving, and so she just told me to, you need to do something with the community, you need to be involved and going to church. And so that's what I did. I got involved, serving at the senior center, and I was doing the right thing. I was going to work, paying taxes, and just, being a normal citizen. But I was still gambling, I think, I was doing the right thing, but I was still, but, I went back home and stayed in the same neighborhood, basically, and I knew eventually, it would lead to that same old lifestyle again. And I think God was like, he's fed up, okay, I'm going to hold you to Cambodia. And that's what he did, and then that's when I said, okay, God, I will give my life to you. And, I was born in Cambodia, but I knew nothing about Cambodia. Going there, I was lonely, I was devastated. I knew no one there really. My great aunt was there, and then I stayed at her relative's house. But I was lonely. Mom was just sleeping on the floor, and I prayed. I just prayed to God, like, God, send me someone, because I'm lonely. And I think that's when He answered, and He sent me my wife for this. And God has always been faithful. And so there, I met Elizabeth in 2010. So I started having feelings for her. We met, and actually she met with my mom too. And a month later, God kind of told her God spoke to her to just sacrifice everything for me. So we decided to get married. Got married a year later, and she was teaching in Korea, so she wants to be in Korea. And I like, my heart was in Cambodia. I really just want to be in Cambodia, serving. I was involved in church and helping out with the community, with the kids. There's so much people that need to know about Christ, in Cambodia. It's like 95% are Buddhists, so a lot of kids are lost. And I do firmly believe that God brought me back there for that reason. But my wife doesn't want to be in Cambodia, but hopefully God will change her heart one day. And so I was able to go to Korea, and while there I met my mentor, just Korean man, really, he's a professor, and he just, got me involved in everything. Attending summer classes with him numerous times, and BSF, Bible study. I was just involved in the church, serving, and I'm just not a good speaker. I'm sorry.
No, it's great.
So I hope I don't lose anyone. But I think God, has a purpose for all of us. Just we have to just cling to Him, look to Him. We've been so blessed to be here. I never thought we would be here and we share my testimonies. Our daughter Kathleen getting baptized. We're just so blessed by you guys showing us so much love. I really appreciate that. And, Catherine and Brian, before we got here, they prayed. We almost didn't make it. To come here. So it was like through a lot of prayers. And I've been encouraged while I'm here. I've been edified. We've really been blessed to be here because it's so many talented people here, and you guys are all serving God. And I was talking to Pastor Paul. He's like, yeah, it's like a taste of heaven, and it really is. I think that's what heaven is like. A taste of heaven, just worshiping God endlessly. I just thank you so much. I'm just so grateful, for God's people. I hope that this is somewhat edifying, encouraging a little bit.
Amen.
But I just appreciate so much to be here. And thank you, Jeff, as well. Jeff, my second time here, greeted me. I just want to introduce yourself, myself to you, and so that I feel welcome, So I was like, okay, yeah, because I was in Bucharest, and I attended ICF there. They did, the pastor did greet my wife, but I was in a changing room. And the next time I went, no one greeted me there. So I was like, oh man, okay. But yeah, so, we need elders, we need, mentors. And I think Jeff and, you guys have great mentors here. I miss Dave and Barbara. Dave, every time I'm there, he's, that hug, that big hug, and I get the wisdom. And our time's almost up here, and I think we got 2 weeks left with you guys. So, and it's just been a tremendous blessing for us to be here.
Amen.
And Tommy, thanks for Tommy for the privilege of share. I was not prepared at all to I had time. He told me like 2 weeks ago, but
No, it's good.
I don't know. I just have a hard time writing things down, and I'm just gonna say whatever. But thank you so much, Tommy, and just the way you and Tanya serve the Lord. I'm just so amazed and just so joyful, to be here and worship you guys.
Amen.
And thank you so much for listening. God bless you, and keep us in your prayers too. Thank you.